Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. Today we're doing a review demo of the JOAT 20 combo by Todd Sharp amps. Before I tell you about it, I'll tell you about how we're recording it. Right now this is my Han Telly that's running directly into it, and we're miking it with a Royer R21 mic about a foot off the center of the cab. That's running into an Apogee Quartet and into Pro Tools. A little later on, I'll give you a PRS so you can hear it through humbuckers. So let's start with the inventor, Todd Sharp. Very interesting guy. Great guitar player, played with Hall & Oates 40 years ago. After that, Rod Stewart, Mick Fleetwood, Bob Welch, Carlene Carter. Was really kind of a go-to player. And had been playing, Marshalls and Voxes and things like that. And like a lot of people, it's almost like riding a Harley, like a vintage Harley. If you ride a vintage Harley, you have to know how to work on them. And if you play old amps like that, touring back in the day, you kind of had to know how to fix them. So he kind of parlayed his knowledge into working on amps. And eventually, after doing this for years, probably, 20 years, he thought, why don't I build an amp? And unlike a lot of builders these days who are basically making really great Princetons or really great Marshalls or whatever, he kind of started with a tabula rasa. Just said, what do I like? Let's see what works. And kind of painstakingly went through the details to come up with this line of amps. And the JOAT is the 20 watt variety, but he has bigger ones than this. But let me tell you the basic ingredients. We'll start over here at the inputs, 1 and 2. 1 is better for single coils. 2 is slightly attenuated. So it's gonna, if you're running 2 different guitars like most of us do, switching between humbuckers and single coils, you can accommodate the amp rather than, very quickly, rather than have to like change your settings, just use a different in, which is, I think because Todd is such a player, he's his own research and development guy. So that's a great example right there. And I'll plug a humbucker in later in there. Next we have the bite switch, which gives you 3 different settings. Up here it's a little more aggressive. Pretty aggressive, right? In the middle, neutral. Down here, kind of in between. Sorry, I kind of got carried away there for a minute. It was just so much fun. So next, below the bite switch, you have HR, which is basically kind of a power cut. Brings you from a full 20 up here. And this is a loud 20. And this bumps it down a little bit, I think maybe to 12. But that's just, to me the tone is almost identical. I think all you're changing there really is volume. And I know there's some amps that have sort of, a half power switch or something like that. And to me, they always kind of have a thing where, now granted, louder always sounds better. But I think some of them, you sort of lose some of that body. And to me, the personality feels identical. You try with that bite switch up. So it's a great way to kind of wrangle it in. Amps all have their sweet spot. And I think that's probably why modeling has become so important for touring acts, because the consistency. But amps, they have, they're almost like a car, like there's some cars that just kind of, when you get it up to like whatever, 65 or 70, it just kind of hunkers in and feels right. Amps the same way. When you hit that ideal speed, it just feels right. And this way, you can get it to that sweet setting without being quite so punishing. So that's, again, a great bit to have. Volume, is what volume is. And we're just a bit above all the way up. I'm sorry, a bit above middle, but we'll dime it later on, but let's not go there quite yet. Next to that is attitude. And attitude is, to me, it's kind of the aggression to it, maybe. So there are 5 flavors of attitude, and I'm on the 5th right now, the most kind of aggressive. But let's dial it back one. Give you a taste test. Here is the most attitude. Slightly less. Okay, this is just me throwing in my stupid 2 cents, my own little R&D. But man, I would really love it if there was a foot switch where you could jump between your 2 favorites, because it'd be so great to just like hit a button and go from this one to all the way up. Anyway, Todd, maybe the next version you might consider that. Then again, it might be a stupid idea. This is just one guy talking, but I do love having those options, and I think that's why this amp is kind of being embraced by studio guys, because you have all these different flavors, and it's great to kind of dial them in. But also, it'd be nice for in a live situation to just kind of hit it on the fly. Just a thought. Let's move on. Next, you have low cut, and to me, it's almost, again, this is just my opinion, but it seems almost named the wrong thing, because you're not really cutting your lows. It seems like you're adding lows. And I'll show you. Right now, I'm, again, of these 5 flavors, I'm on the second to the last one, so number 4. But let's jump over here. Oops, sorry, wrong knob. I'm going to roll her back. Middle one. So again, you're just kind of dialing in the flavor you like, and the combination is, I mean, there's unlimited possibilities, and you're going to dial in what works best for you. I kind of liked it around there, I think, the most. At least with these single coils, that's really a sweet spot. Next, we've got tremolo, and this tremolo is gorgeous, man. Let me flip it on here for you. And what I love, if you look at this foot switch, it's got a pulsating light to let you know your speed, which is very cool. Let me dial this down a little bit. You can see it at a slower speed. So I do like the visual clue, because, I mean, how else would you know other than looking back at your amp? And we often don't have that ability to look back at our amp. So delightful, beautiful, lush tremolo. Who could ask for more? The final ingredient is the high cut, and much like the low cut, you're adding highs. This gives you 6 flavors. I'm on the final one, which I just thought really sounded snarly. let's try a few other flavors. I'm gonna run it all the way to the first one. See what that's like by comparison. And again, that's just kind of finding your voice. But I like the snarl a little bit more. Let's kind of put it in between. Great, man. Now we've heard it on the telly. Let's get into humbucker land. Okay, so now we're in humbucker land, and here I am basically in the same setting, but just plugged into the second output. Man, that is a great rock and roll tone. And interestingly enough, the volume, once you get above half, to me doesn't get a whole lot louder, but it gets nastier. Let's try. Okay, pretty punishing at that volume, and that's with the volume cut. This is a loud 20 watts. You could play clubs or arenas with this and probably be just fine. When I dial it back though, it does clean up nicely. Just sounds great. As far as tubes go, there is a 6AU6, two 12AX7s, a 12AU7, two EL84s, and a 5AR4. Also, there's a rotary switch in back to switch between 4, 8, or 16 ohms, and it comes with a 12-inch speaker. So those are the basics on this amp. To read the full written review, go to premierguitar.com. While you're online, make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. We'll keep you up to date on all the cool new gear that's out there. Let's dime this pig.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on premierguitar.com.